Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Tonight I'd like to discuss Sonia Kruger and her Wrongthink. Back in 2016, Sonia appeared on the Today Show. During that time she discussed the newspaper article written by Andrew Bolt in which he'd correlated Muslim populations with terrorist activity and attacks in other countries. Sonia, emotionally distraught from seeing footage of the Nice terrorist attack that happened just recently at the time, suggested that Australia should close its borders to all Muslims. You can imagine what happened. Let's listen to her comments before we dive into an article about it.
Personally, I think Andrew Bolt has a point here that there is a correlation between the number of people who are Muslim in a country and the number of terrorist attacks. Now, I have a lot of very good friends who are Muslim, who are peace-loving, who are beautiful people, but there are fanatics. And does the population and the correlation between those two things, is it having an impact? I mean, if you look at Japan, Japan has a population of 174 million. It has 100,000 people in that country who are Muslim. We never hear of terrorist attacks in Japan.
You can tell she's not really comfortable discussing ideologies or the political implications of this religion. You just get that vibe.
Personally, I would like to see it stop now for Australia because I want to feel safe, as all of our citizens do, when they go out to celebrate Australia Day. And I'd like to see freedom of speech. And Lisa, I think, we're seeing journalists
I'd like to see freedom of religion as well.
See, this idiot doesn't get it. I'm not familiar with who he is. I'm assuming he's a co-host. And he's conflating the state protecting its citizens by controlling who can come and enter the country and immigrate over with freedom of religion. She's not advocating for a ban on that.
Well, as well as freedom of speech, they both go hand in hand.
But we're not saying there's no freedom of religion.
Well, if
we're
start
talking about immigration, David.
We are, but if you
see, you're not, mate.
This breeds hate. This sort of article breeds hate. When you have
no, fear, terror breeds hate.
Someone like Pauline Hanson.
So you're not allowed to talk about it. You're just not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to discuss it.
Nope, Sonia, the left doesn't want you to talk about it. They can't have a discussion about these things anymore. They're not able to do it. The left cannot actually have sensible discussions about these things anymore.
Yes, you are allowed to talk about it, and you're allowed to celebrate and worship whatever you want, whatever you don't want.
Well, I would venture that if you spoke to the parents of those children killed in Nice, then they would be the same opinion.
In fact, the very first person who was killed, mown down in that truck,
was a Muslim
woman.
Yes.
So, it's killing Muslims.
That's kind of irrelevant, but most people killed by Islamic attacks are Islamic because they live there.
Muslims.
I mean, it's Muslim people.
It's indiscriminate the way it's doing.
That's exactly right.
But just to clarify, Sonia, are you saying that you would like our borders closed to Muslims at this point?
Yes, I would. Because I think at this point...
Which is the Donald Trump approach.
I think we have something like 500...
I like the Donald Trump reference there. Donald Trump did nothing that Obama didn't do before him. No one batted an eyelid about that, but, it's just because he's an old white guy. They don't like him.
1,000 now in our country, and well, perhaps it is, but for the safety of the citizens here, I think it's important.
So, Australia, a country has the right to control its borders. That's what a country actually is. Like an old city-state, or a city would even have city gates, and it would be a privilege. You need to earn the right to enter the city. People seem to forget that. So this is an article written by Katie Halfpenny, and we'll just go through certain elements of it. So on July 18th, 2016, Kruger kicked off a social media storm by telling Night's Today Show viewers that Australian borders should be closed to Muslims. We just listened to that article, to that statement she made that kicked off that storm. So she was discussing News Corp's Andrew Bolt's article, and she agreed with him. So she wants people to go out, yada, 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 refers to Japan. The next day, she discussed the matter again, saying that an image of a baby covered in a plastic sheet after the July 14 terrorist attack in East France that killed 86 people had rocked me to the very core. Okay, she had to apologize to it. Now, we can, let's play a bit of her apology here.
And
just
before
so
we
you can
start
hear
the
it.
show, I'd just like to say a few things about what happened yesterday on the Today Show. The discussion we had was centred around a newspaper article which referenced the correlation between the Muslim population of certain countries and the number of subsequent terrorist attacks. I felt the article made some relevant points. We've witnessed too many atrocities committed in the name of terrorism, and last week's attack on innocent men, women and children in Nice left me in utter disbelief. I saw the image of a baby covered in a plastic sheet with a doll lying beside her, and it rocked me to the very core. I imagined what that must have been like for the people of Nice, for the friends and families of the lost, and the thought that it could happen here terrifies me. This type of attack affects people from all walks of life, and I want to make it very clear that I have complete respect for people of all races and religions.
So she had to apologise, but someone complained. A complaint was made against her on July 18th. Comments were made by Sam Ekamowi, a Muslim living in Australia, who has 8 children and has made 32 complaints in the past, including to John Laws, that have gone on for years. I can't find any information about this guy. He doesn't seem to have a social media footprint. What I can find on Twitter is just someone pushing out Palestinian propaganda. So he seems like someone you might not think is very moderate, shall we say. So late on Tuesday, the Civil and Administrative Tribunal refused Nine's application to have the complaint dismissed without a hearing. So they were asking to not have it dismissed. So I'm just going to call him Sam. Has been involved in 32 hearings before the courts, 22 of them related to vilification complaints. Now, if someone is a serial pest like this, that goes out of their way to identify this, because her comments wouldn't inspire hatred. You know, saying you want to restrict entry to a particular ideology, that doesn't inspire hatred. Fear is what inspires hatred. I think she's been quite reasonable in wanting to discuss these issues. But Sam here, Buddy, wants to put his boot on it. He wants to stop it. All the left want to destroy any discussion about anything that they find uncomfortable. In an email last March to the Anti-Discrimination Board of New South Wales, he wrote, Kruger wants borders closed to Muslims, in that she's implying that they are terrorists to dehumanize them. Well, no, it's because a large proportion of Muslims are terrorists than any other group on the planet. You know, they aren't crusaders on utes, Hiluxes in the deserts of the Middle East these days, are they? No, they're not. So they haven't dismissed it. They didn't buy the argument that Muslim isn't a race. And the fact that Sam didn't identify any critical elements of his own case, they ignored it all. So she's going to be going to the tribunal. But she's right. Let's have a look at some terrorist statistics from around the world. Let's look in 2016. And, well, there's none in Japan. And let's look at these different groups. Al-Qaeda, 32 attacks, 191 fatalities, an Islamic terrorist organization. Al-Shabaab, 68 attacks, 478 fatalities, Islamic. Boko Haram, 56, 703, Islamic. Islamic State, Islamic, 489, 9,622 fatalities. PKK, yes, commies, not Islamic, 72 attacks, 191 fatalities. So it's Islamic and the Taliban. Oh, again, 96 attacks, 841 fatalities. Now, other. 305 attacks, 1,810 fatality. Separatists, National Liberation Army, I bet you can guess where they're from. Islamic Freedom Fighters, Islamic Party, Kurdish Communists, I bet money that they're commies. Bet money that they're commies. Islamic Revolutionary. Okay. Maybe. I think these are the ones that don't have the same PR campaign as the big boys here. So 2016. We're noticing a pattern. Unknown. Look at those countries. I wonder who committed those acts. Let's look at 2017. The same pattern. We've even got some in Melbourne, in Australia here. Let's have a look. In Brighton, Islamic State. 1 fatality. Queanbeyan, Islamic State. 1 fatality. Let's go to 2018. And I'll share a link to this map because I think it needs to be widely shown because this is all publicly available information. Melbourne, we had 1 attack this year. Mills Park, Islamic State. So this is evidence that's backing up her concern. Her fear is justified. You know, wherever you have this religion, you're getting more and more terrorism because it is a pathway to heaven in their belief system. It's that simple. Not everyone is going to partake in it. A few people are, and it only takes one person to destroy the innocence of a city. That's all it takes. So I'm disturbed that we're reaching a point in Australia where we've got our human rights commissions and anti-discrimination tribunals are being abused by these pests that are just systematically using it to silence legitimate discussions about issues that are going to affect the future of our children, the future of our citizens, and our country. Now, Sonia's taken a step outside the normie world to look at these implications in greater detail, and she got slammed. Even her co-host wouldn't even allow her to discuss it. And now, this idiot who keeps complaining is putting her up in front of the tribunal. It's like the secret police. It's insane. It has to end. We need to talk about it, one way or another. UK has got media blackout. They're not discussing anything. Let's keep going on Australia while we can. If you like this content, guys, please subscribe. Please like and share. Have a look at this map. It'll scare the shit out of you. I'll put some more videos up on the other side. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye.